All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The New Orleans Pelicans last night got a great win against the Phoenix Suns. This team was 36-46. They got through the play-in tournament, and then they took down the best team in the NBA, statistically speaking, at least last night. I mean, 125 points. Brandon Ingram was one assist away from a 37-point triple-double, 37, 11, and 9. CJ McCollum, ever since he's gotten to New Orleans, he looks rejuvenated. The team looks rejuvenated, although they really have been since, like, the first month of the season. It's been, like, a completely different feel, a completely different vibe to this roster. And when you really break it down, man, the Pelicans started this season 1-12. I mean, they started the season 1-12. Well, we have new news. We have some news here. Devin Booker unlikely to play in games 3 and 4. So you just got a wild win, a completely wild win. And in fact, I got a stat here. They combined, CJ and Brandon Ingram combined in the last 5 minutes 15 points, 5 of 7 shooting, and so the series is tied 1-1. Your two stars are playing phenomenal. I've got a Brandon Ingram stat later in the video, but your two stars are playing phenomenal. The defense is looking good. Guys like Herb Jones are chipping in. The bench is chipping in. Jonas is doing his thing. You know, they're just a really complete roster, even though they are pretty on the younger side, especially that you start getting into that bench. You got guys like Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. So there's some young parts to this team, but then you got guys like Larry Nance Jr. who have been absolutely huge for him in this playoffs. But notebook games 3 and 4. I mean, that is crazy. That's big. Devin Booker did not play last night for the final, what was it, like basically a quarter and a half at least. It might have been 2 quarters. Best player is gone. You're headed home. What do? You got to win. You got to win. Now, keep in mind, Phoenix is the most sound team in the NBA. They have like probably the deepest team in the entire league. The thing is, in the playoffs, it's kind of like teams it's not like you rely on star power, but superstars and stars kind of run the playoffs. Superstars run the playoffs. And so if there's anybody who's going to be able to, win 2 important games without your superstar, it's going to be Chris Paul. It's going to be Chris Paul, and it's going to be the Phoenix Suns. But I do think at least one of game 3, at least one of game 4, 3 or 4, you have to win one of them. Now, I don't really think that New Orleans is necessarily going to win this series. Like, I don't really, if I had to bet on it, I would probably say not. I mean, that's just pretty reasonable, right? But, the New Orleans Pelicans' future is super bright. I mean, it is absolutely super bright, but I would never say never. I would never say never. If New Orleans comes out without Devin Booker, Phoenix without Devin Booker, you come out, you win game 3 at home, and you are up 2-1, and you've just won 2 really good games. You've already gotten your win in Phoenix. They say playoff series don't start until the first road upset. If you're up 2-1, I mean, even right now, you're up. It's tied to 1-1, but you're headed home. You have all the momentum right now. I mean, you have all the momentum in the world. So we'll see. Hopefully Devin Booker is okay. I want to see both teams at full strength. I want to see a competitive series. I want to see greatness. Right? I want to just see good basketball. And, I know Pelicans fans, I know that, like, the Suns missing Devin Booker is like, great. But it's not like, Pelicans fans are, like, out here, excited about, like, oh, let's go, Devin Booker's hurt. It's more so like, oh, damn, Devin Booker's hurt. Like, that sucks. Good thing it's only 2 games. Let's win them. Let's win them. We have to take advantage of it. We can't control these injuries. You can't control these injuries. Most of the injuries on the court, players can't really even control them. So, who knows? Game 3 is going to be big. Game 3 is going to be big. But just looking at the Pelicans in general, just looking at the outscope, you have no Zion. And I talked a lot about Zion in my video yesterday, but it's like, I mean, you got a 27, 7-4 kid who is still on a rookie contract. Like, that's talent. I've seen Zion get compared to Greg Oden. I've seen him get compared to Anthony Bennett. You show me a rookie who went 20, or not a rookie, but you show me a young player who went 27, 7-4, and then had a complete fall off. Like, it's just not going to happen. We just saw Zion do a 360 dunk in the play-in tournament. Like, Zion I hope he wants to play in New Orleans. If not, I hope New Orleans gets a great amount of value back for him, because he's a phenomenal basketball player, and just the sole fact that he hasn't played in over a year, it's just demolishing his trade value right now. So I was hoping to see Zion on the court this year. It's not looking likely. But a team that has Brandon Ingram, you didn't have CJ, you didn't have Larry, you didn't have a lot of these guys. You had Jonas, you had pieces, but you start 1-12, and you're without Zion Williamson, who now isn't their best player, but at the time you could argue that Zion was their best player. Brandon Ingram has just completely, in my opinion, overtaken him. He's a hell of a basketball player. His mid-range last night especially was unbelievable. I mean, this guy, he has a great mid-range. He's got a great shot in general. But last night, something about last night, that mid-range, it was crazy, because you had, the Suns just kept battling back, and Brandon was just draining shot after shot after shot, mid-range after mid-range after mid-range. CJ would come in, he'd drain a three, he'd get to the lane, he'd find an open guy. Last night was a great win. But since February, the month of February, you have a top 10 offense and you have a top 10 defense. So I never say never, man. The Pelicans roster is one of those really interesting things. I think the weak link somehow, some way, is Devontae Graham. But it's a really talented roster, and you've got a lot of young, talented pieces. Jackson Hayes he had 3 straight dunks last night. You have Herb Jones. Then you've got your, kind of big three right now, and it's been a great big three. Brandon Ingram, this guy has been great. And I've got a stat here for you guys. Brandon Ingram in his first 2 games, 55 points, 16 rebounds, 13 assists. First 2 playoff games ever. Only one NBA player in the history has had more in his first 2 playoff games. Oscar Robertson, Big O. So he joins elite company. Absolutely elite company, but even more so, let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say New Orleans loses the next 3 basketball games. The season's still a massive success, man. Anytime you start off 1-12 and you finish and you make the playoffs and you get through the play-in tournament, I know 36-46 isn't the most pretty stat line, but given everything that happened, not only in the NBA with all the COVID stuff at the beginning of the season, but everything that New Orleans has gone through. Not only that, but you're getting valuable playoff experience right now. You're getting valuable playoff experience for guys like Brandon Ingram, and then even guys like Herb Jones, Jackson Hayes, the bench, guys like Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. This is really good, a really good learning experience, especially just even winning 1 game on the road in a playoff series as the 8th seed, playing not the defending champions, but the defending NBA final appearance team, NBA final runner-up, getting a win against them on the road in your second ever playoff game. That's super impressive, and that's a great learning experience. So that's it for today, man. Let's try and hit 50 likes on today's video. Pelicans fans, post a bunch of Pelicans videos. I'm going to be covering this series. I'm definitely going to be posting a lot of videos in the off season. So hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'll see you guys later. But most importantly, drop some comments down below. How's this series end? What do you think? Peace.